Lopez and Lomachenko was supposed to happen May 30th. It's not going to happen. But should they have that fight on regular TV so people are excited, engaging, just, good ratings? Or pay-per-view should be...
I'm going to tell you my point of view,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of the fans might disagree with me or agree with me. I know that a lot of people say, oh, coach is talking out of his whatever,
Yeah.
It's understandable. Everybody has their opinion. But me as a businessman, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I lived it in the past. Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, when they mentioned that fight happening, I didn't see it happening anytime soon. And business-wise, honestly, what brings to the table? As you can see, Teofimo Lopez is a great fighter. We know because we are in the boxing. We are in the boxing.
Correct.
But if you ask 10 people out, random people out there, if they know boxing, and they say, yeah, do you know Canelo Alvarez? They say yes. But if you say, do you know Teofimo Lopez? They're like, who's that? They don't know him yet. What I'm trying to go to is this. Teofimo Lopez needs a little bit more exposure. His name needs to be exposed a little more in order to generate those fights that are interesting to people to pay. Right now, it's not. You know what I'm saying? For example, let me ask you, when has Lomachenko sold a pay-per-view?
Never.
Okay. Now, going back to no disrespect to anybody in the sport, but when Triple G fought on pay-per-view, the sales were not there when he fought London, right? So he needed Canelo to sell a pay-per-view, right? Which is that's just the way it is right now. Right now, I think Lomachenko is a great fighter. He's a great fighter, great technician. To me, he's so good that I don't even watch his fights. The only fight I've ever watched from Teofimo Lopez was when he fought Linares, but because of Linares. He's so smart in every way that I don't watch him. I know he's got a lot of ability. Maybe because we're used to watching some fight to fight, but I don't think that right now is not the right time for the business to make a Teofimo Lopez Lomachenko. Lomachenko will beat him on a decision because he is more of an experienced, more of a seasoned fighter, and he's got the tools to beat Teofimo, just outsmart him,
Yeah.
But he has to be very careful because Teofimo can crack.
Yeah.
But I think if I see that fight happening, I think Lomachenko will beat him on a decision. But there won't be a lot of interesting people because you're not gonna have that big fan base watching the fight because right now not a lot of people know who Teofimo Lopez is. We know him because we're in the boxing business.
So in other words, only the hardcore boxing fans will be really interested rather than from a casual perspective, correct?
Yes, and in this boxing sport, you need more people to watch. Like if you want to watch a Canelo Alvarez fight, everybody knows who Canelo is. Canelo is the fighter of the moment. It's like when Manny Pacquiao was the fighter of the moment. Everybody knows who Manny Pacquiao is. Right now, business-wise, nobody knows. I'm sorry. Let me correct. Not a lot of the average fans know who Teofimo Lopez is, or they haven't seen him. Teofimo Lopez needs that name. He needs to be a good name in the sport of boxing to create that attention. Like, oh, he beat this guy. Yeah, he beat this African guy recently. I don't remember his name. Good fighter, but
you're talking about Richard Comey.
Yeah, who knows Comey? It was the first time I ever seen Comey fight.
Yeah.
And I'm in the boxing world. And like I said, he needs to be like somebody, for example, like he used to be the fighter like Juan Manuel Marquez or somebody with a name, that, oh man, this young kid from New York just beat Juan Manuel Marquez, and boom, right there, he gets that attention, But right now, he needs a little more exposure to get to those fights where he's marketable enough to create a pay-per-view or a big interest in a big fight.
Got you. We'll move forward. You mentioned Pacquiao. Anybody would love to fight Pacquiao. And I was hearing too, I was reading that Pacquiao was interested in fighting Terence Crawford. We talked about this multiple times about who Pacquiao should fight. And if he decides to go this route with Terence Crawford, is that something that he shouldn't do at this point of his career, Manny Pacquiao?
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I see things my way and I say them as they are.
Yeah.
When when Manny Pacquiao fought in Australia, what was the guy's name?
Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn. He won the fight. He won the fight. I mean, I watched it. He won it.
Yeah.
And you know what? At that time, this is my opinion, regardless of if it bothers anybody. I think that Bob Arum at that time he didn't want to match Terence Crawford and Pacquiao because obviously those two are they're like his two kids.
Yeah.
So he played his cards in that way where, hey, Jeff Horn's he won the fight. I mean, he took the win, took the belt, and then gives the belt to Terence Crawford, which was, but right now, I'm telling you, the situation with Manny Pacquiao, if not one of the best fighters in history, he's at the point where any fight can be his last. I'm telling you, right now, Manny Pacquiao had a great career. He beat some of the best fighters in the world. And right now, honestly, it gets to a point of a fighter due to the wear and tear on his body and his age that any fight can be your last. I mean, I've seen it when Sergio Martinez fought Miguel Cotto. I never expected Cotto to beat Martinez.
Yeah.
That night, the age kicked in. His age kicked in. I mean, Sergio Martinez was already like 40-some years old.
Correct.
It happened. And what happened with Cotto fought Saddam Ali? Same thing. I mean, Cotto was already tired. His body's tired. Every camp. And that's what happened. Right now, Manny Pacquiao. If Manny Pacquiao fights Terence Crawford, I think Terence Crawford would have problems with his speed in the early rounds, but after that, Terence Crawford will beat him. And I saw it with Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman struggled with Pacquiao because of his speed in the early rounds, but in the later rounds, he was all Keith Thurman. And that's what happens when you're at that age. It's called age. A fighter that has been through so many wars and battles, like Manny Pacquiao. Right now, I'm honestly, if you put Manny Pacquiao against Mikey Garcia has beautiful timing on the right hand. He'll catch him. He'll have problems in the early rounds because of Manny Pacquiao's style, speed, and ability to move. But I think Mikey Garcia has a beautiful right hand that will land on Manny Pacquiao at the right time, just like Marquez did.
Got you. Understood. Another thing too. I was hearing. It was actually 3 hours ago. I seen this interview on I think it was Showtime or another interview. Errol Spence. He talked a little bit briefly about what happened in a car accident and how it, I guess in other words, humbled him, how it changed his life. And then I guess he went on to say that he will beat a prime Floyd Mayweather. What is your thoughts about that, knowing that you've been in this sport and your knowledge is by far one of the best out there? So what do you think Errol Spence saying he beats a prime Floyd Mayweather Jr.?
Look, Floyd Mayweather's a businessman. Floyd Mayweather's made his career, his life, his fortune because he's a smart guy. I love Floyd Mayweather. If Floyd Mayweather signs a contract to fight you, it's because everything is in his favor, or else he won't do it. He did it with what's his name, the Irish guy? McGregor. I mean, come on, people. How can you expect McGregor to beat Floyd? It's impossible. I mean, I would argue with people that say, oh, it takes that one punch. But to land that one punch on Mayweather, that's the problem. You know what I mean? It's like when Manny Pacquiao fought, finally they met in that ring. I did interviews with a lot of writers and people that interviewed me, and I said, this is what's going to happen. Mayweather's going to get in that fight. He's going to feel Pacquiao, and if he feels that he's going to jeopardize his own, he's going to play safe. Just put rounds in his pocket, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
If Mayweather decides to fight Errol Spence, it's because he sees something. Mayweather is a clean fighter. He stays clean, even though he's already, he's already a little old, but he's not a beat-up fighter because he's a smart fighter. If Floyd Mayweather signs a contract, I'm gonna fight Terence Errol Spence, is because he sees something that he knows is gonna win the fight. And believe me, that's how Mayweather works. Mayweather is gonna be the fighter that people are always gonna remember because he's gonna go down undefeated. If he decides to fight Errol Spence, because he knows he'll beat him, and he will. I guarantee you. I mean, yes, Errol Spence is a great physical, strong fighter, but like I said last time, and it's not fair. When he fought Mikey Garcia, I think Mikey Garcia is a fighter that they should be fighting at 135, 140. I mean, he takes a risk and fights at 47 against bigger fighters. I mean, okay, you know, he lost to Mike, he lost to Errol Spence. But you know what? That night is not fair for the fact that Mikey Garcia gets the credit, even though he didn't win. Why? Because, and this is the way it goes. It's a coin toss. Mikey Garcia walks in the ring against an Errol Spence. If he wins, he becomes a superstar because he beats a bigger fighter at the welterweight division.
Correct.
But if he loses, it's okay. You know why? Because he tried it out. He tested those waters. And
Yeah.
he did great.
Yeah.
I watched the comments days after the fight. Nobody was talking about the winner. Everybody was talking about, man, Mikey Garcia won 12 rounds with a stronger, bigger fighter and so and so. So even though he didn't win, he got more credibility than Errol Spence did.
Yeah.
I also think that Errol Spence as a fighter, if he's as strong and powerful that a lot of people talk about, why didn't he take it to Mikey Garcia if he's a smaller fighter? Because Mikey was playing a little safe. He was being cautious going in and out. I mean, if you feel that you're stronger than that fighter, go take it to him, execute him. Because if you don't, that's what you're gonna get. Days after, a week after, people are not talking about what a way to win this fight. You know, it was more like, wow, Mikey Garcia went in there 12 rounds with a bigger, stronger fighter. So even though Mikey didn't win, he got more credit than him.
Yeah, and I will add on to that because what Mikey did was what I call a good calculation on a win-win, right? I think an opposite of that, what I always tell fans is Keith Thurman when he fought Pacquiao. He would have beat Pacquiao, people would be like, oh, you're supposed to be Pacquiao.
Exactly.
Pacquiao,
that's just the way. That's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fighters move up 2-3 divisions, move up 2 or 3 divisions, and when they lose, they're like, oh, well, it wasn't my division. I just wanted to try it. So it's okay. You know, wash your hands and walk away. But if you win, man, you're like the superstar of the moment.
Yeah.
You know? But I've had fighters, not to mention you, some of the fighters that I've trained and I've been in the corner with, that I know the opposition is not as strong as my boy. And I tell him, hey, finish him up. I mean, because the outcome of the fight is what makes you move forward. If you go a decision with a guy that is not at your level, I mean, okay. But if you execute him, wow, he executed him, it's fine. I mean, it's the outcome that counts for your next fight. And I think that night, being the bigger, stronger man, I think Errol Spence would have just taken it to Mikey. You know, go in there and, you know, try to finish him off and not let him get go on a decision. I mean, Mikey's a strong fighter, smart and slick. But if you got a guy that, honestly, to me, Mikey is a 135, 140 pounder right there. Going up to 47, he's testing his waters. But like I said, I always say that Errol Spence is a very physical, strong fighter. He couldn't even fight at 154. And pretty soon he's gonna move up to 54 because he's big, he's strong. Yeah. I mean, he is really hard. Why didn't he go and take it to him? He executed Mikey Garcia. By not doing that, the next weeks and up to now, people said, wow, Mikey Garcia did great. You know, he went in there against his fighter and just, you know, executed him, you know? Yeah,
that is so true. I wanted to get your perspective on Jermall Charlo, the 160 WBC champ. He's moving up supposedly the 168, and he wants to fight a young champion in David Benavidez. Who do you got in that fight?
Benavidez. I mean, the Charlo brothers are good fighters. They're good. They got a lot of hype. They're young. They got a lot of confidence. But David Benavidez, it's another animal, man. David Benavidez is an animal. Very smart, strong, very dominant in there, you know. The Charlo brothers are tough. I know they are. Ability-wise, you know, in the boxing world, I think that it's a tough fight for both. But I think that Benavidez will overcome that fight.
So is it more based on the because Benavidez is a naturally more a natural 168 fighter, or
of course the weight is a big factor. Size is a big factor. Obviously, the Charlos, you know, they're 154 pounders moving up to that division. You know, coming up, always the fighter that's coming up, you know, has more of this advantage because the fighter that is already there, he's been there for a while, so he's established. He's a solid fighter. And if you're a young, undefeated champion, obviously you got the confidence, and nobody's gonna come into your circle and try to take what's yours. And Benavidez, believe me, Benavidez is a great, great fighter.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, as a fight fan, if you are in favor of a trilogy with Canelo and Triple G, knowing that we've seen two different styles of fights, the first and second fight. Do you think the fans should demand a third fight between Canelo and Triple G? And would you like to see it?
You know what? They deserve, the fans deserve a third fight because,
Okay.
you know, we see things from the outside. In the first fight, people were not happy with the draw. I mean, a high percent of the fans in the boxing world, they were not happy with the decision, with the draw. A lot of people were talking about Triple G winning. People were talking about Canelo winning. And, you know, we got to see it, you know, the best way possible. The second one, same thing. People saw Canelo win. People didn't see Canelo win. So I just think that there has to be a defined outcome. Like, there has to be one fight where the people are finally happy with the decision, with the outcome. And I think that there should be a third, but I think that on the third, the advantage is more on the Canelo side. Because going back again, Triple G, getting older. I mean, he's been in the boxing business for many, many years. And at this point, I just think that Canelo has the advantage.
You know, even throughout Canelo's career, the last 6, 7 years, you know, he's been criticized, he's been praised, he's been, you know, now more than ever, he's been fighting top names, you know, the Jacobs of the world. He was going to fight Saunders, Triple G again, and then he's been moving up and down weight. Now, from your perspective, right, what would it mean for the haters of Canelo and the fans of Canelo if he decides to just fight the guy at 175, Arthur Beterbiev, defeat Beterbiev at 175 for his career?
You know, as bad as it sounds, I know, I mean, people pay to watch the fights and they have an opinion. But at this point, Canelo's the king of the sport. And I know it's going to sound bad, but he does whatever he wants. And he's going to play safe in his career. I think there's a lot of fighters out there that are a big threat to Canelo. And he's not going to face them because there's still more Canelo out there. You know, I think that if Canelo loses one fight, loses two fights, and then what else is there in the sport? You tell me. Canelo needs to play it safe. Choose because he has the power to choose whoever he wants to fight. And obviously, everybody wants to fight Canelo because whoever fights Canelo is like you find the golden egg, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna make money fighting somebody, an average fighter, than fighting Canelo. Everybody wants to fight Canelo regardless if you lose, because if you fight Canelo, you're gonna make money. Okay, but there is a lot of fighters. There is, in fact, some fighters out there that I think they're a big threat to Canelo. I think Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah.
I think Bivol. I think Bivol is by far one of the biggest threats for Canelo. You know, and I just that's where I see myself. You know, that's where I see my opinion, giving it to you. Canelo has the power to go 75, 68, 60, whatever, because he is the king of the sport right now.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't see that. People always, I mean, we respect people's opinions. And
correct.
People can say, oh, well, Canelo should fight Sanders. Yes, you know, a lot of people want to see the fight, but it's not up to us. It's up to the business. It's up to Canelo and obviously the people that are handling Canelo's career.
Correct. I was going to ask you, talking about Canelo and his team, your reactions to Andy Ruiz and possibly working with Eddy Reynoso. And is that a good fit for Andy Ruiz at this point of his career?
Actually, I'm actually excited to see how that's going to play. I can tell you that because, I mean, I can tell you this. Never told anybody, and people know here. Andy Ruiz lived like 45 minutes from where we live. When he turned pro, his dad brought him to me. I trained him here for about a month or 2 months. I don't remember. His dad told me, yeah, I want you to train my son. Okay, whatever. Okay, no problem. All of a sudden, he disappeared. He left.
Oh, wow.
They didn't say, hey, you know, we're leaving, whatever, you know. Then he ended up in LA, and then he ended up here and there, and never heard from him anymore. So then started asking people here and there, and some coaches that knew him since he was a kid.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, Andy Ruiz, his father is just one of those gym jumpers, you know.
Wow.
He just gets free training from people here and there, you know. So he ended up in LA, ended up with I don't know if he went with Roach at once, or he ended up with Manuel Robles. Well, he did what he did over there, but you know, his lifestyle is really hard. I've always said fighters generate fame, they generate money, they generate friends, and they generate problems. I think he's at that point. Let's see how it's gonna play out. I think that it's like I always see it. Fighters come to me that have had bad discipline with somebody else, and the first fight together is good. I mean, they show discipline, but after that, once you start falling into that comfort zone, then everything starts going down the drain. That's why, to me, it's exciting to see. To me, I'm just excited to see how it's gonna play out with Reynoso, knowing that Reynoso has Valdez, Ryan Garcia, has that kid from Mexico. I mean, a lot of good talent. Now he's bringing a guy. He's bringing a guy that on the last fight, the fight of his life, that he could have won.
Yeah.
I mean, he blew it. Why? Because he didn't train. He was partying. I mean,